got to study this thing.
At this point, I'm going to throw in one of my conceiving, and we seem to have kind of it gotten better, but I kind of refer to it as remission, because it's not if it's going to come back, but it's whether it's going to come back. And a lot of the problems we face were kind of problems that were inherited from 10, 15 years prior. So what I'd like to ask y'all is, and I guess we'd be starting with Josh here. Do you have any policy positions, some specific ideas that you have regarding the water that would ensure that we never have, the city of Atlanta particularly, and Fulton County, we stand the most to lose on this issue, never face the issues that we faced 3-4 years ago with respect to the drought in the shortage?
Sure. I think the litigation started 20 years ago with Joe Frank Harris, going way back. But we were very close in about 2007. We had a deal worked out with Alabama, and the way the water stuff is set up, once you get a deal between Georgia and Alabama, Florida will come along too, because frankly they've got the least at stake. We had this location picked out, we had the day picked out, and then Governor Riley pulled out at the last minute. The good news is, though, that the new governors in all 3 states, Alabama, Florida, and Georgia, are working together very well. So you asked what I would do. I would empower Governor Deal to continue those negotiations. I think once the Supreme Court says that they are not going to hear this case, meaning where it is now, and that the water, the Corps is going to have to decide what to do with Lanier, which they haven't done for years, then I think the negotiation will continue and it will be successful. So what would I do? I'd make sure that Governor Deal has what he needs in Georgia law to make that happen. What do we do going forward? We passed one of the strongest conservation bills in 2010. It was a governor produced last year that made Georgia a real leader in the country in terms of reservoirs, making them easier to be permitted so we can build more, we can store more, and we'll have more going forward. And then the last thing I would do is we need to take a serious look at the Tennessee River. We've got the expert on that, Brad Carver, here. Many of y'all may know, I mean, with the guy that did the survey back in, what, the 1700s or early 1800s, you know, it was hostile, 1818, it was hostile Native American territory. He got pretty close to the line, he's like, this is good enough. And that was Georgia's border with Tennessee. It's wrong. And it's easy to know it's wrong. You can see it on Google Maps, you can see it on GPS, and we don't need to make Chattanooga a Georgia city. We just need access to that river and then take that water on. That is one of the long-term things we can do. And again, that means empowering the governor to engage Tennessee in a meaningful way on that, because it's under.
Well, I think Josh makes a good point about Tennessee, but I think we have something a little closer here to home as far as a reservoir. And what I mean by that is, you know, using that Dawson Forest property. We've got 10,000 acres in Dawson County that have got prime property. It was the city owns it. So this is my plan, and this is what I would consider. I'd look into this, because first of all, I pay around $400 a month in water myself. I feel it. I feel the pain. So this is a thought. And by the way, that's not washing my car or sprinkling the yard every day. I mean, that's for people. It may be my van. It may be washing it. I don't know. I can tell you this. I'll tell you this. I pay a lot in water, and I've been studying this thing, and here's what I feel. Maybe we take the 10,000 acres and we develop 2,000. But we bring in somebody like a cousin, somebody that's a pro at doing revitalization. Hold your thought, hold your thought. And you do an exchange. You follow me? They develop do luxury lakefront, Lake Burton, Lake Raven type properties, and in exchange they build a reservoir on the property. You follow me? So we give them the land.
Do you think it's run into a problem with the constitutionality of that, with the gratuities clause?
Not the constitution. The only trouble I see is the environmental side.
Because the gratuities clause, the state cannot basically grant a benefit to a private entity.
No, I understand that. Look, it's got to be the correct bidding. It can't be like the airport. Okay, it's got to be the right bidding and the right people. You have to do a bidding situation and do it the right way. Put it all out in public, publish it, and do an exchange. It's a way to not let taxpayers spend more money. That's the bottom line here. We are overtaxed and less service. Okay.
I think when you look at the rainfall that Georgia gets, especially in the North Georgia mountains, we have enough rain. And so, you know, we have legal requirements to release certain amounts of water from Lake Lanier, and that's a challenge for us to maintain what everybody expects. And as far as the water consumption, so when the weather goes down and we get a drought, we have challenges. And so I'm for free market solutions, and I think that we need to have a metric. They know how to read our meter. They know when we're getting dangerously close, and et cetera. And as our supply goes down, and by the way, I'm also for building more reservoirs in north of Atlanta, and we need to do that. But you know, that's just, you know, that's already in play. We just need to continue to advocate for that as a state senator. But again, I would like to see some free market principles. When we go down in water, the price should reflect that, and it should cost a little bit more money. So it will force the consumer to decide, well, do I want, you know, do I have to water my lawn today or wash my car? Because, you know, you want the consumer to feel the pain, if you will, of the lack of supply. And so that's why I would like to see the water rates be more responsive to our current situation.
I'd like to follow up on the reservoir issue for a second, because with all due respect to Mr. Ellenberg,